Donald Trump continues to spread conspiracy theories about left-wing protesters. You might think that if you've participated in some of these protests, for instance, recently against Kavanaugh, that you were an impassioned citizen speaking, what you believe. No, turns out you were paid, or maybe not paid actually, because he tweeted this morning that the paid DC protesters are now ready to really protest because they haven't gotten their checks. In other words, they weren't paid. Screamers in Congress and outside were far too obvious, less professional than anticipated by those paying or not paying the bills. He doesn't have much respect for his audience when he says they haven't gotten their checks. In other words, they weren't paid. Yeah, we know what not getting their checks means. But his theory there is that they not only all of these protesters were paid to be there, they don't actually believe any of it. It's a professional thing, but they're also being, I guess, gypped out of their money, which is a bit of projection on his part, considering when he had paid demonstrators at his first big rally when he descended down that escalator. He didn't pay the company that paid for them for months until they finally made a big stink out of it. This, by the way, continues his attacks right around the time of the Kavanaugh nomination hearings, saying the very rude elevator screamers, which if you don't remember, that's women who have been raped who dared to actually say so to senators. They're very rude elevator screamers, are paid to do it. So you read these, especially the one this morning, and you think, what is he talking about that they didn't get paid? And it turns out it's actually a pretty simple explanation. If you bring up this tweet, it's showing what happened on Fox and Friends this morning at 7:47. Someone made a sarcastic comment saying that people have sent me lots of messages that they're waiting for their check. And less than an hour later, he just tweeted that that was the case. So he hears one offhand jokey comment on Fox News, and now the most powerful person on the face of the earth is spreading the idea that every protester on the left is fake, and also they're not getting paid for their work.
Well, look, you mentioned projection, and it's exactly right. You gave one example, let me give a couple more. So we know for a fact the first now the Trump rallies today are real people, no question about it, okay? But the very first press conference he did where he announced his candidacy, we know for a fact was paid actors. And just like he accuses them, it did not pay them because he's Donald Trump. He stiffs everybody, he never pays anybody, right? Because he's a liar and a cheat and a fraud. So he assumes, well, the Democrats are probably doing likewise. That's point one. Point two, remember during the protests against Obamacare, what did the Republicans do? The Koch brothers funded buses to go pick up protesters and deliver them to rallies. Now the Tea Party guys were originally upset about the Wall Street bailout, but if you noticed, they never protested Wall Street, never. Why? Because the buses picked them up and did not bring them to Wall Street. They brought them to protest against Obamacare, which the Koch brothers and other Republican funders did not like because it taxed them a little bit more. So, and they had brought in donuts. We talked about this at length back in the day. Food, drinks, ready-made signs, and they poured in a ton of money to create the aura of grassroots. So Republicans think, well, I mean, we don't have any real supporters, so we assume the Democrats have no real supporters. We have to manufacture ours and we have to pay ours, so we assume the Democrats have to do likewise. The third one is the Miami rally, so the Miami mob. So this is graphic 45, guys. So this is back in 2000. This was the scene at a recount in Miami-Dade in the Bush v. Gore election, right? Now this looked like they were angry people in Miami saying, do not recount. We don't actually care about elections or democracy. We're so mad. I don't want integrity in our elections.
Who protests to not count a vote?
Yes, well, it turns out, it was a great piece of reporting that showed that almost everyone in the picture was a Republican staffer, consultant, or lobbyist. It turns out no actual human beings that aren't paid to do so go and protest, please stop counting the vote, right? And of course that strategy worked. They did stop counting, it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court, with their infinite political bias, said, yeah, I don't care about states' rights. We're gonna make Bush the president. Of course, Gore did win Florida in the recount, but it was irrelevant by then.
Yeah, but everything turned out okay though.
Yeah, so, yeah, right. So this is what the Republicans do as a matter of course. They pay their protesters, they have fake protesters, and they provide a tremendous amount of funding for the protesters. So when the Democrats are actually upset, or liberals or progressives or women are actually upset, they're sexual assault survivors, and it's visceral and they go and protest, the Republicans are like, that must be fake. George Soros, no way. It can't be real, people.
They're lying about their rape.
Yeah, and even the person who came up with this conspiracy theory in the first place, Asra Nomani, admitted that when she said on Fox News that, quote, people have sent me lots of messages that they're waiting for their check, she was kidding. She was being sarcastic. But Trump is too stupid to realize that. He's like, oh, I know it. Just like I stiffed my paid supporters. I bet Soros did the same. I'm gonna tweet about it. You knucklehead, she was joking. The whole thing's a sham.
No, every Trump supporter now believes it and will never be corrected on that.
Yes, and look, what drives me crazy is they put out this crap and now it is being repeated, whether to, show it or like say, here's the other side by reporters doing a good job, right? But we're the Democrats. Like the Democrats don't show equal force where they come out and go, no, those are real angry people and they should be angry at you and they should be angry at Kavanaugh. And no, you guys are the ones that pay protesters. Where's Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi or anyone today doing a press conference about showing pictures of Donald Trump's original press conference and showing how each one of those guys is an actor? Right? And then showing their acting resume and going, this is the fraud who's our president who has paid actors to show up to pretend to be supporters of his. Then you know what the country would be talking about? We'd be talking about that. Because that would, and then Trump would have to respond because it's a personal attack. And then we'd be having a different conversation. But the Democrats never, ever play offense. And oftentimes they don't even bother playing defense. So this is what the conversation is about today. And I guarantee you, for all Republicans, and unfortunately a good size chunk of independents, they will think that Soros actually paid those people to show up.
Yeah, that will be the default position. And the one good thing out of that, I think, is that they will be convinced that there's not actual anger or opposition to what they're doing. It's just paid for. It won't actually materialize, which means that if it's not real at the protests, it's not a threat on election day. But you have an opportunity to actually prove them wrong by voting and by flipping control of at least one, if not two, chambers of Congress.
Look, I'm gonna say something here that is slightly self-serving, but there's a good reason for saying it. Look, think about what the world looks like without the TYT network. Who the hell's fighting back? Who's gonna fight back for you? What, Schumer? Pelosi? They're gonna fight back? Who, Steny Hoyer? He's gonna fight back for you guys? Who the hell's gonna fight back against Donald Trump and actually do these videos and show you what the reality is, what the facts are? Okay, there'll be a couple of muted articles written, and bless their hearts, and we really appreciate it, okay? But this is why we call it Homo Progressives, because unlike the other mealy-mouthed people, we are willing to actually aggressively make the progressive case. And the great news for us is we have the facts on our side. And that's what drives me crazy about the other Democrats. They have all the facts and they won't fight, but we will. So help us build this bastion of independent media, which is Homo Progressives. Become a member today, tyt.com/join, so that we can make this bigger and bigger and they can never get rid of us. And if you do it based on subscribers like you guys, that is a strength that they cannot move. Otherwise, they can attack you financially this way or that way.
Ads, demonetization.
They can do 1,000 different things. But if we have 100,000 subscribers, paid subscribers to the Young Turks, they can never, ever move us. And we'll always be there to fight for you guys. tyt.com/join. Don't let them get away with this crap. The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.